Hello everybody, my name is Chris Hall and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Prometheus Lights Alpha flashlight, what I consider to be potentially the king of flashlights and probably the pinnacle of my flashlight collection. Out of over a dozen custom flashlights made in America, this honestly stands alone and it stands at the top. And I'm going to take you through this light from beginning to end. This light retails for right now it retails for exactly $650 plus tax. And from what I can tell, only maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of these are made every month to 2 months by Prometheus Lights, owned by Jason. I believe it's pronounced Jason Hui. Sorry if I got that wrong. I think it's Hui though. Jason is the man behind Prometheus Lights and 4.7s. Prometheus Lights makes the Alpha, the Delta, the Beta, and other custom lights, more handmade, high-finished lights. And then 4.7s is kind of his more commercial product, although it's extremely, extremely good as well. I believe that since this light is serial number about 1300-ish inside, I think that only about 1,300 have been made, and that would make sense with that timeline I just gave you, the frequency, the cadence, and given the fact that this light has been out for over 10 years. One thing that's cool about Prometheus Lights in general is that they have a philosophy of improving their products over the years, not just putting it out and forgetting about it. And this light has undergone probably hundreds of small iterations over the years, but it's been continuously improved for over 10 years, this light, and the result is something that is truly incredible. This light is about 750 lumens overall, and I'll talk about that number later. It is made out of pure commercial grade CP2 titanium. Now that is not a titanium alloy. That's not 6Al4V, aka 6% aluminum, 4% vanadium mixed with titanium. It's actually a CP2 titanium. That's a 99.9% pure titanium, based on what I know. I'm not an expert, just a dude who likes flashlights, but it's 99.9% pure titanium that has, I believe, about 60% better thermal conductivity than the grade 5, alloyed titaniums. I think it's grade 5 that the 6Al4V titanium is. That's what, everything else is made out of. I have a Charles Wiggins Arcadian here. That's titanium. This is an alloyed titanium. Alloyed titaniums are stronger, but the pure titanium is way, way, way better at thermal conductivity, and let's be honest, that's what's important in a flashlight here. We're not going for edge retention on our flashlight, guys. Okay. There's a huge connection between the ability to get rid of heat and the quality of a flashlight. You'll learn that as you get more and more flashlights, and oftentimes the cheaper flashlights are the ones that basically don't regulate heat as well. And when you buy a $20 flashlight off Amazon, you're basically ensuring that you have absolutely no quality components in there that are capable of distributing heat. Inside this light is a 99.9% pure copper pill. This inside here. See, that is where the battery touches. Isn't that beautiful? This is where the battery touches. That's a pure copper pill there, pure copper contact. That's a custom polycarbonate lens that protects the circuit boards in there from dust. Isn't that cool? Let's start with the very top though. I'll put that, here's the battery. 18650 battery, 3,400 milliamp hours. Super nice, great capacity. So with the very, very tip of this light, you'll see that there's a crenulated bezel in the front. This is so when you put the light down, you can see if it's been left on by accident. right? See, there's a glow there, you know. And I mean, you could argue that it gives you a little bit of like texture. If you were to hit something, you could kind of grip into it a little bit. At the very front, you have a glass, a piece of glass in the front. You know, that is what's at the very front of this flashlight. It's not a piece of sapphire crystal. Sapphire crystal is used in flashlights like the Okluma DC0. There's a piece of sapphire in the front. However, this glass is, I like it better because it's so freaking clear. It's a little bit dirty right now, but when I got this flashlight and when it's clean and in person looks different, but in person, this front optic looks like it's not even there. The front piece of glass. The front piece of glass looks like it's not even there at all, and that's the benefit that you get with glass over sapphire crystal. Also, you have anti-reflective coatings on both sides of the glass. Okay, that's something that like I think IWC and Rolex does. You know, anti-reflective coatings on both sides of the glass. And you know, the downside of glass, you know, hypothetically, is that it's not as strong as sapphire crystal. It's not as scratch resistant as sapphire crystal. However, I prefer the fact that this is so perfectly clear and it looks beautiful and it transmits more light than the sapphire crystal. It's very, very rare that this gets impacted directly, and if it does, I actually have replacement parts for it, and I could swap that out in under 2 minutes. Now, on the edge there, you can see that there is a blue O-ring. Now, that is not a black nitrile O-ring that most flashlights use. That is a blue fluorosilicone O-ring that never needs lubrication because it's basically like always stays like moist feeling, and kind of weird way to describe it, but you get my point, right? Like normal O-rings dry out like tires, like the tires dry out, right? But this is almost like it's always lubricated. That's how it feels. It's always like soft, and it's 10 times more expensive than a normal O-ring, and it's much better, and this literally lasts an absolute lifetime. But if in case it's broken, I actually have replacements of that too. Now, holding in the O-ring is also another one of those advancements that Prometheus lights have made over the past 10 years, which is that metal ring. That metal gasket ensures an even more sealed joint right there and allows for even more waterproofness. This light is literally, as far as I can tell from my knowledge, the most waterproof flashlight on the market. There might be something else. I'm sure there's something else. You know, of course, there's submarines with lights, etc. But in terms of a light that you can buy for under $1,000, let's say, this light is rated to 300 feet for over 5 hours. Okay, that is absurd for a flashlight. Even lights like Cloud Defensive, I'll show some of these later, but this is like it's like a $250 light. This is waterproof to a much less greater extent. Okay, much less extent than other one. This is the most waterproof light you can basically buy. Going down my list here, the emitter, Nichia 519A in 4,000 Kelvin at a 95 plus CRI. 4,000 Kelvin is the color temperature, so 3,000, 2,000 is super warm. Something like 5,000, 6,000 will be cooler. 4,000 is pretty much in the middle ground. I like 4,000 because it's pretty much neutral, but a little bit on the warmer side, and I think that's a good compromise. I like warmer lights that are 4,000 and below. So I have a lot of lights that are 4,000, some that are 3,000. And then in terms of the 519A, as far as I know, is the kind of the latest, greatest, best overall emitter in terms of output, CRI, and just overall performance in terms of balanced features. Some LEDs are better at output, some are better at color temperature, and some are better at CRI. The 519 has all three of those, which are pretty good. Although, I mean, it's definitely not the highest output possible, because you can the more output you want, the uglier the light is in general. Okay, the quality of the light. So this is a really nice, this is a very high quality, putting out a very high quality beam of, like, we're talking about the difference between this and an iPhone or any type of light under $100, I would say. It literally makes those lights look hideous to you, to your eyes. Like, you will not want to use other flashlights once you've had a 95 CRI, 4000 Kelvin, really nice LED emitter light. It doesn't even need to be this. There's other lights that are way cheaper than this that have the same emitter even. You can get that. But once you go that way and see what a 95 CRI light looks like, or even a 90 CRI looks like, you will not be going back to a normal flashlight if you're into this kind of thing, and color, lighting, that kind of thing. I like lighting, I like color. I'm into photography, videography, cinematography. I'm always inspecting things like this. So my light, I need a high CRI light. Very important to me. So we talked about the glass. We talked about that awesome upgraded O-ring, crenulated bezel. Now let's talk about the thermals here. This section right here that has to do with the cooling. This is called the ICE, integrated cooling element. Let me get it in focus there for you. It's basically, you know, these fins that it acts as a heat sink, similar to how, you know, a heat sink works on a processor, on a CPU in your PC, for example, or your Mac, any kind of computer. You know, they'll have a heat sink like this that helps get rid of the heat. And this is a very, very effective heat sink that gets heat directly out from the emitter area, right? And remember, there's the emitter inside there that's directly connected to the copper pill, that pure copper pill, and then that is bumped up against this titanium, this super pure, ultra thermally efficient titanium, and bringing it out here. And the reason why this is, you know, this heat kind of heat sink, you know, the way this works is it's creating more surface area for the heat to disperse into the air through convection. I'm trying to focus this for you so you can see. I'll get it like this. This is awesome. You can see how he's not just going across. Jason did not just design this going across straight with the heatsink, with the fin design. It goes one level there and then deeper there, because the optic goes in, right? The optic is like a V, is like a V shape. It's like a V shape, and he's taking advantage of that to get a little bit more surface area. Trust me, he probably went through like 100 different versions of this, and spent like tens of thousands of dollars messing up different versions of, you know, different pieces of titanium just to figure out what is the absolute most optimal, you know, way to get rid of heat off this. And that's a success, huge success. You know, when a light gets hot, that's actually a good sign. That means that your light is working extremely efficiently to bring heat out of the LED and into the surrounding area. You can't overheat the LED, you know, and you don't want to overpower the LED. You don't want to overheat the LED. You don't want to overheat the light. It's a lot to think about. Building a custom flashlight like this is basically like a big physics problem and a machining problem. It's all these problems stacked together. That's what makes this thing so impressive. All right, let's keep going. Almost done with the list here. This light overall, the beam pattern is a beautiful beam pattern that is very, very even and will not really come across perfectly on screen. But the best. I'm just gonna describe this light for you. Okay, I don't even need to show you. I don't even need to show you the light right here. This is a close range light. Okay, it's not a thrower. It's not a thrower like a tactical light, like a mod light. Okay, it's not like a high candela light, or like the HC from Cloud Defensive. It's not a tactical light for shining a spotlight across hundreds of feet. No. This light is designed to just dominate the 100 feet and in area. 100 feet and in, this is your perfect light. It has the perfect amount of brightness. Remember, you don't want to be pushing 1500, you can't push 1500 lumens through any type of flashlight for like 20 minutes. You're not going to be able to do that. Your hand's going to melt. Or you're going to need some insanely huge flashlight, right? Like, but in a flashlight like this is as good as it gets for titanium. You know, I mean, you could argue that making this out of, I guess, like pure copper or something could be better, but I mean, I love titanium. I just love the way it feels, looks, performs, everything about it. I could go on and on about how much I love titanium, you know, on a chemical level. It doesn't smell at all. It's super anti-corrosive. You could throw this in a, you know, acid, come out swinging. Lanyard might burn off though. You know, so this is designed to be the best light, you know, 100 feet, 200 feet out and in, but especially up to 100 feet out, especially up close. It's just amazing up close because the beam pattern, and by up close, I mean maybe, you know, 10 feet to, or 5 or 10 feet out to 100 feet. You know, if you really want the best up close light, you're looking at something like a mule. Okay, this is the Charles Wiggins Pathfinder, one of the best flashlights I have. It's freaking awesome. It's a mule, meaning it doesn't have a lens or anything up front, and it's just super up close. It has a perfectly even beam because there's literally no optic or anything. It's just the LED, okay? Barring this is as even as you're going to get without going to the mule. This is as even of a beam as you're going to get on this type of flashlight, in my opinion, on a single emitter, right? Of course, you could go to a triple emitter, which is something like this, right, with 3 LEDs. You're going to get a little bit more of an even beam, like arguably, because you have 3, but in a way you're not, because this reflector in here is called the Lidl Boom, and it's made in Finland by a company that only makes these reflectors, and it is so freaking good that this is literally perfectly even, this beam. It's like perfect. It's perfectly even around the hotspot. It has a 60-40 split between the hotspot and the spill, right? So you have 60% of the power, the brightness going towards the center, and you have 40% going towards the spill. And that is a really nice choice, and it just is beautiful. It's basically the perfect middle ground for everything. And that's what this light is for. This light is designed to be like a daily companion light. You know, it's not designed to be the best at like any one particular thing necessarily, although you could say it is the best at CRI. I mean, it's the best at like that mid-range, you want an even beam, you know, it's the best at like it's 4,000 Kelvin. Most consumer lights, you don't even know what Kelvin they are, but they're probably like 5,500. Stuff from Olight and stuff is usually like 5,000 plus minimum, if not 6,000. I have some lights that are like 6,500 that are just pushing brightness over anything. This is a refined light. It's not just about pushing brightness, all right? It's about how you do it. In other words, to sum it up. So let's talk about what else is there. Yes, I would say I think it's about 15,000 candela. That gives you a good idea how like not pushy this light is. This is a nice, even, broad beam. But it is about 750 lumens. Let's talk about what I like about the modes. What I like about this is that I like to use 2 different mode groups. Okay, and for your guys' convenience, I actually wrote them out for you. Okay. Now, the light is 750 lumens, and basically I have 2 mode groups set up for 2 different kind of uses. One is at 25% on the first tap, and then a 70% on the second tap, okay? And then, of course, you always have a 2 taps to 100 on this light, okay? 2 taps to 100 from any mode group anywhere unless you change it. And then on my second mode group, is more like a utility, giving me more options, and it has a hybrid memory. My first mode group has no memory, only 2 modes, basically a low and a high, okay? So I got a low and a high, and then I got a 1, 2, 3, 4 modes with a hybrid memory, which I'll explain what that means. But this second mode is what I'm in right now, which is gonna be 0.4% moonlight, 2%, 17%, 70%, and then double tap to 100. So I kind of get 5 modes out of that second one, and then 3 modes in the first, just a low and a high. And my thought process behind this is I've had this light for a couple months and been messing around with different modes, experimenting. I like this setup because this gives me a nice kind of strong low to medium light. It gives me 187 lumens there. That's great for daytime use, illuminating shadows in things that I'm looking at inside my house, outside 5 p.m. But even when it's daytime, this is basically my daytime mode, and this is my nighttime mode, right? Because I got a 4%, which is 3 lumens, 15 lumens, and that's better for night vision preservation, right? And then, of course, on this mode, I have no memory, so it's always going to go to 25% first, and then 70%. But on this one, it's a hybrid memory, which means that it's going to go back to what I had, but then it's going to go back to the first mode, the lowest mode, always. So if I'm in that 17% mode and turn it off, like I'll go to it for you now. Moonlight, 2%, 17. Oops. Moonlight, 2%, 17%. Turn it off. Back to 17. And then moonlight. See, so it goes back to the mode I had it, and then back to moonlight. There's moonlight there. Now, since this is a 750 lumen light, even this 0.4% moonlight mode is still 3 lumens. So you don't get a sub-lumen moonlight mode. That is the only thing that I wish I could change, but that is the lowest it goes. You can go for a 0.4 or 0.9% on the, in terms of your lowest mode. Now, in terms of some good, I'll show you how I change them really quick, how easy it is to change mode groups. Basically, you got to go in flashing, flash, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, boom. Now I just changed modes. Now I'm in low and high. Okay, only low and high now. Before I was in that mode group too. You saw how easy I did that? Easy peasy. Let's talk about to wrap this up, let's talk about some nice complementary lights to this, because this is the type of light that can benefit from a friend, okay? Now, why would you need a friend? Well, like we said, this is the absolute best light for EDC. You're getting amazing power, obviously, with that 18650 battery, run all day, probably run weeks for most, maybe a week for most people or more. General use, up close use, high CRI, everything you're doing, inspecting your stuff, cleaning around the house, checking your floors, checking your car, checking outside, moonlight mode, dual modes, titanium, beautiful, designed to the freaking golden ratio, all the heavens aligning. All right, that's this. But you could benefit from a nice tactical light when you're carrying this guy. Okay. And the reason is because this is you're dominating up to 100 feet here. This is your 100 feet and out light, okay? This is my go-to. This is my favorite light. This is the Cloud Defensive MCH Duty, D-U-T-Y, Duty. Cloud Defensive MCH Duty. This has a massive hotspot, 1,800 lumens on this bad boy, and 50,000 candela, okay? 10,000 candela, 750 lumens. This is over double the lumens. Is about 4 to 5 times the candela. That doesn't mean this light sucks. Okay, this requires a nuanced understanding to appreciate these both. But when you carry both of these lights and understand them, you are literally the master of the night. Okay, you have the power from super low moonlight to lighting up a group of 5 people at 300 feet, 400 feet, and telling them how many fingers they have up and what color nail polish they have on, or what color gloves they have on, or what color shoelaces they have on with this. You see the difference? You don't need both at all times, but I carry this in my side pocket, my cargo pocket in my pants, and I carry this in my left pocket, my left main pocket in my pants. I carry both of these. I know I know some people are going to think I'm crazy for carrying both these huge lights. I mean, some people wouldn't even consider carrying this light or this light, just this. Most people don't carry any light, but hey, that's the difference between me and you, I suppose. So, Hope you enjoyed this. Oh yeah, I'll show you, I guess, some bonus other ones that work well. You know, okay, so you got your overall light, right? Your overall best EDC, best light in the world for EDC, basically. Then you have your MCH Duty. That's a good one. You also have the MCH High Candela, which is like a more spotlight version of this. That's a little bit cooler color temperature. This light is nice because it has that awesome, it's huge hotspot, lots of lumens, huge spill. Very nice even spill, and it's a nice warm color temperature at 4,000, at 4,500 Kelvin, I think. Maybe it's 4,000, but it's reading like a 4,500. This is more like a 5,500 Kelvin. This is really just a pure tactical light. You don't really want to be using this. Like I literally don't want to look at the light from this unless I have to. You feel me? This I can deal with. I have this set to a 10% and 100%, by the way. On 10%, I could still see hundreds of feet away from this. And then this has, everything. It's a big family. And then if I really want to go for the absolute slimmest dual light setup utilizing the Prometheus Alpha here, I would go for my Hyperion. Okay? It's my Hyperion here. Okay, you see that? Only one mode, baby. Turbo. This has 1,500 lumens and uses Cree expel or whatever it is. Cree, the high output, the extra lumen high output LEDs, which prioritize brightness over the high CRI, the nice color, the even beam pattern. You feel me? It's using 3 of those. Okay, and that allows this to basically be, this is a one mode flashlight with 1,500 lumens that has a nice wide pattern, but since it's 1,500 lumens, I'm pushing out to, 300 feet, 300 feet easily with this. So I can run around with this on my nice low modes, getting all my perfect CRI, nice colors, everything, perfect beam pattern, etc. But then blast at any time. And it's only one mode, so I can't mess it up. By the way, this is the Dr. Jones driver, which is ironic because this is like one of the most advanced drivers in here, but I only have it on one mode, is how it is. But actually, the Dr. Jones driver and the Icarus driver in this were actually developed kind of in parallel, I believe. I believe that Jason and the guy who developed this were friends, and they kind of made it in parallel, kind of helping each other, but then went different directions in the end. Flashlights like this have entire guides and stuff on programming them. These two, and that's what's awesome. Any of these modes that I told you about, like this is how I have it set. But you can adjust these up and down percentage-wise a great deal. So it has a lot of customization in this light in the Alpha. The pocket clip is great on this. I have absolutely great, super strong and extremely minimal. The way it's designed is nice. There's an Easter egg for you. All right, my name is engraved on this. Property of C Hall. Pretty cool, right? The button is the switch in here is a McClicky switch, kind of an industry standard, and the button is really supple. I'm a freak, and I put ballistol on it sometimes, like just to like kind of lube up the button, just like make it like extra supple. And I just like having that perfect control over it. This really feels like an absolutely precision-made object. So much so, the balance is so perfect. The way it feels is awesome. The stone washing is freaking incredible. The way those facets are, like I'm 30 minutes into this video, talking fast, and I could still go on. Are you seeing this? Are you getting it? I could literally go on for another 30 minutes, but I'm not. I'm trying to wrap it up here, but that's how nuanced this light is. How much goes into it. But what you need to know is this light has, a lifetime warranty, and besides that, the way that it's made, this light will last forever. This light will literally be around shining light when I'm dead, and this is an heirloom quality object through and through. Everything about it. It's an heirloom quality flashlight that really looks like some type of alien species bought it. But when you use it, and even when you actuate the button, it's just so accurate. It feels so tight and accurate. Everything about it. Even honestly, versus the Oklumas, the Oklumas like feel like they have a lag to me in the button. Always. They always feel like they have a lag to me. But this has none of that lag. And when you compare all the design elements of this, all the things that are considered, literally from tip to tail, this light is basically flawless. It's using the absolute best materials, components, and design standards and performance standards that you could possibly make a product up to. This is literally a physical representation of a man at the peak of its work and a freaking master at work, making an heirloom quality product. And you can get the ready-made ones for a lot cheaper. This is a blue class one though, so this is the custom-made one. So these are hand-assembled one by one to order. Let's just show you that one more time. How good that looks. With a titanium flashlight, you can see I got some remnants of like the lube there. That's normal. I might clean that off later, but it's because part of owning a titanium flashlight, titanium is a very gauzy, soft material overall, and not really the friendliest for making threads. But you basically want to wipe off the threads, re-lube them up. Wipe off the threads, re-lube them up every so often. I'll tell you about this lanyard here. This is the and how I use this. It's actually a very cool part of this that I added. Has a lot of utility. This is a Nice Guy Machine Co. lanyard bead. I mean, this is like $100 bead. And I don't even think you could buy this anymore. Not even on eBay. I don't think you could look on eBay. But this is an Ultim bead. But what I want to talk to you about is how I have it. See, this allows me to when this is in my pocket. Imagine this is I put this in my pocket, right? I can come with my fingers, with these two fingers like a scissor, and pick up this light, and then actuate it immediately. Okay, and that's why if you add the lanyard exactly like this, I think it's really a good idea. I initially had a 2-stage lanyard. The lanyard was here, and then I had it extended up here with another one, so I could go like this, or I could kind of like weave it through my fingers. But I decided to go back to this because I feel like it was more, I didn't like all the extra stuff waving around. It was a little more low profile. And this just allows you to get that nice grip like this, or it allows you to get a really comfortable, like kind of modified cigar grip going on here. But I really recommend trying out you don't have to have a fancy lanyard. I do like this one because it's like really heat resistant and stuff. And although this could burn, I am around a lot of hot objects a lot. So give it a shot on the lanyard. I have the metal tail cap from another Prometheus flashlight. But I actually prefer the rubber one because it is, you get more tactile feedback, and it's just so much more supple and nice to use. So there you go, guys. Well, it's been 33 minutes talking about this flashlight, so I'm going to wrap it up there. I think I covered everything, all the main stuff. I could seriously keep going on. This flashlight is freaking awesome. My kid is going to be very happy one day to own this flashlight, but considering it has my name on it, I think I'm going to keep it around for a while. This is my favorite light in my collection. I also own the Delta from Prometheus and the Beta, and I own 4.7's lights as well, like this. Jason and what they're doing there is really, really cool, and they're making really, really great stuff. It's made in California. So I highly recommend checking it out. Worth every penny. Go check it out go check out Prometheus lights. Go check out the Alpha. This is the Alpha in stonewashed titanium, but it's also available in electroless nickel plated aluminum, 6061 aluminum, for like $350. So you don't need to get the super fancy one. You can go with that one. So with that said, leave any comments below, any questions, I'll get back to you. Try to answer them. Appreciate you guys watching. Thanks a lot, and have a great day. Peace.